So of course, with the final whistle blown, the final score was Celtic 1, Rangers 0 at Parkhead. The only goal of the game coming for Ncham. The ball was crossed towards him. He slots it in the left-hand side. McGregor was running across, trying to save the goal. He couldn't quite get there, but McGregor was saving us all game. Let's not forget that. Talking of which, in my opinion, if it was Fotheringham in goal or anyone else that we've had before McGregor in the last few years for Rangers, it could have been the same score in the past couple of seasons. It could have been a 4-0, 5-0 to Celtic, but he made some crucial, educated and experienced saves for us that made us really appreciate him yet again. I tell you what, when it comes to best signings of players, McGregor's the best one, but best signing in general for us is, of course, Steven Gerrard becoming the manager of Rangers. For 12, 13 games for us, he was unbeaten. That came against teams away and home, such as Maribor, shall I say, home and away, Osijek, Russian teams such as Ufa, and yet we still hadn't faced a defeat. Our toughest challenge, of course, did come against Celtic, and I think they really turned up when they played us, but for teams such as Hearts, they didn't so much allow Hearts to beat them 1-0. But their players really seem to get revved up when they play us, which goes to show you that when they say, you're not Rangers anymore, why did you sell out your stadium then? Why did your team perform the way that they did today? On the whole though, within the first 10 minutes, Celtic were the dominant team. I can't deny that. First 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, it was theirs. Their first half was just theirs, undeniably. We made a couple of consolation counters, consolation attacks, but we didn't really seem to defend or attack as well as we did against the other teams that we played so far this season, which was disappointing for me because I went into today fully confident, saying that we were going to beat them, and of course that just didn't quite happen. A lot of fans were slating Kyle Lafferty, this is both Celtic and Rangers, saying that Lafferty was not a threat in attack whatsoever. I completely disagree. I think that his headers, his control of the player upfield would have been better with someone more energetic, like a creative midfielder that we didn't have. That's just my opinion. But Lafferty's defending today was almost crucial. He was one of our best defenders on the park. Of course, that challenge Brown challenged him earlier on in the game, and he falls down holding his legs despite the fact that he hadn't been touched. But of course, I was cheering because I knew that. But Scott Brown got a yellow card, so I was quite happy with that. But Celtic's goal, you could argue, came from refereeing mishap yet again. Willie Collum, let's just get that straight, had an awful game today. It was absolutely terrible for both sides, not just for Rangers fans, but for Celtic fans too. So Celtic's only goal of the game, of course, came from Ncham, but the break happened when Ryan Jack was actually fouled by a Celtic player. But Willie Collum didn't see that. The match continues to play, and then they end up going and scoring. But in my honest opinion, Celtic deserved that goal. I don't feel like we really turned up in the power that we have been this season. I feel like Goldson was a tiny bit shook yet again. Katic made some crucial interceptions, but he was getting taken out a couple of times throughout the game, which I didn't like to see because he's been like a powerful man in defence. Tavernier had been slated yet again. Well, he's Rangers captain. He's going to face a lot more. Lee McCulloch found out this way as well. But with that armband around your arm, you face a lot more slack from Rangers fans. But people have been saying things like he was awful today. I don't quite subscribe to this idea that he was awful, but at the same time I feel like he had a lot more to offer defensively. A couple of times he was taken on by the left winger, who I can't remember just now, and it looked like he'd broken his ankles, like the famous football phrase, when a player takes round a player and the defender ends up falling to the ground. That was Tav, unfortunately, throughout this game. But again, going on throughout the attack, Tav swung in a couple of balls. Some of them just went absolutely nowhere. Some of them were good enough for us to get a man on the end of it, but we couldn't really get a shot on target from a header that I remember of. Borna Barisic, I feel like Celtic kept him out of the game today. Genuinely believe that they closed him down, particularly on that left-hand side, very, very well. He didn't have the chance to swing in that many balls whatsoever, one or two throughout the game, in my opinion. And then Ejaria, I feel like Ejaria, despite the fact he's been playing so well lately, I've been sticking up for him the whole time. He played incredibly poorly today. Like he'd be so slow in the ball. It almost looked like the game was going 100 miles an hour around him whilst he didn't quite figure out the pace. Because once he got hold of the ball, he looks up, there's two Celtic players on him. And he got caught in the speed, caught in possession, and often he'd lose the ball. A couple of times he tried to do the weird sort of flicks and turn things that just wouldn't work against Celtic, let's face it. And Scott Brown ended up looking like he was running rampant throughout the midfield. One thing that I do want to say just now, though, is that Scott Arfield does take nowhere near enough credit as he deserves. People are saying that he hasn't been here or there, but Scott Arfield's the kind of player where if you don't notice him, then he's doing his job. In this game, he made a couple of crucial interceptions. But again, we were expecting this world beater when we signed Arfield, but we just haven't quite received that yet, if you get what I'm saying. Morelos, yet again, In this game, he made a couple of very fair interceptions, very fair shoulder barges, yet the referee gave him gave a couple of fouls against him. I hope this doesn't affect his mentality, but a couple of times he did kick the ball away when the referee didn't see, and I do hope that if there was another referee watching that he wouldn't get a card of some kind. But Morelos on the whole today was working hard, but I don't feel like he had the same impact against Celtic as he has done previously, nutmegging Scott Brown, and of course, if he just swung the ball in December 2017, then we might have got a goal and beaten Celtic. But as it stands, the last time we beat Celtic was under Mark Warburton in what I think was a semi-final. That has to change, and very, 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 very soon, because the way that things are going, Celtic is still dominating Scottish football, but we're definitely closing the gap in on them. The 1-0 deficit that we had today is nothing compared to what we had previously, and we really need to remember that. We desperately need to remember that. I would have liked to have seen a couple of other faces on the bench coming on, potentially Andy Halliday, as when he came off recently, I think it was against Motherwell, the whole game started to change, so maybe he could have brought a new dimension of football, but then again, the past couple of times that he's played Celtic, he's been completely lost. Of course, if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe and like for more. If you have an opinion, leave your comment down in the description down below. And of course, for now, I don't want to say anymore. I'm done. But like and subscribe, and pretty much that's it. Cheers for watching.